let's look at a background to money from an Islamic point of view. What is money? What is the Sharia view on money and cryptocurrency? So the first time that coins were used were in 600 BC by King Aliatas of Lydia, based in Turkey. So modern form of Turkey, in the eastern region of Turkey, that King Aliatas started to use coins. In 9000 BC, you had barter trade that was being conducted. In 118 BC, the Chinese started to use banknotes, official banknotes. In 1950s, we had Western Union that developed the use of electronic money or e-money. Now, there are three different views when it comes to cryptocurrency according to the modern or contemporary scholars. The first view is that it can be considered to be a valid form of currency or a medium of exchange. In other words, that it is a valid form of thaman. The second view is that we can consider it to be an asset of value only. In other words, that it is not a currency, but it is valid to trade the crypto because it is mal mutaqawwam. It is a valid Sharia compliant asset of value. The third view, according to the scholars, is that the cryptocurrency is impermissible. So there are three views in terms of cryptocurrency according to the scholars. Now, what is defined as currency in Islam? So before we go there, that there are two important points to note. First is that an item could be mubah, and from a Sharia perspective, we say al-aslu fil ashai al-ibaha. Everything in Sharia is permitted as long as we can prove that it is not impermissible. So if we're saying that the crypto is permitted, then we say that the general view is that it is permitted. So al-aslu fil ashya al-ibaha, that the original matter regarding this is that it is permitted. Then we find that those items which are mal, in other words, that it is considered to be a store of value. It has qadar, it is considered to be a store of value. And mal mutaqawwa means that it is also recognized by Sharia as having value from an Islamic perspective. So an item, for example, that is traded, for example, wheat, barley, etc., or an item in the supermarket store, that is considered to be mal mutaqawwa because it has value and it can be exchanged in Sharia for a legitimate profit. But let's say, for example, a person wishes to sell pork, for example. Now, although it is mal, although it is wealth, but the Sharia doesn't recognize it as wealth. So therefore, it's not considered to be mal mutaqawwam. So when we look at the cryptocurrency, we need to look at it from not only from an outward perspective, but we also need to delve deep into the white paper as to what the funds are being used for, etc., to ensure that when we say something is an asset of value, a legitimate asset of value, that it can be traded, it must be legitimate from the front end and from the back end. It appears in fiqh that ashay idha thabata bilawazimi, that when something is established, it is also established with its subsidiaries. In other words, that if we're saying the crypto is permitted, that it means the underlying activities also of the crypto must also be Sharia compliant. So we have established now that the crypto, like for example, Bitcoin, is a counter or an item of value which is recognized in Sharia. In other words, that it is mal mutaqawwam. It is an asset of value. Now, when it comes to something to be considered a thaman or a valid medium of exchange, according to the preferred view of Imam Muhammad rahimahullah in the Hanafi madhab, it has to have istilah and taqawwum. In other words, that it must be something which is commonly used as a valid value or medium of exchange. Now, when we look at the Bitcoin is generally used as a valid medium of exchange. It has value. So therefore, the Bitcoin can be considered to be a thaman. It can be considered to be a valid medium of exchange. And it has generally gained widespread acceptance. It has reached over the $1 trillion market value. And it is used by the likes of PayPal, Tesla, and other large corporations as a valid medium of exchange. So this is in relation to Bitcoin. When it comes to other cryptos like Ethereum, Ripple, etc., then we need to look at that more carefully, and much more investigation needs to be done. When we look at money in Sharia, that there are two forms of money. One is thaman khilqi and the other is thaman urfi. Thaman khilqi now refers to the money such as gold and silver, which has been prescribed in Sharia. The urfi money refers to money that has been recognized as per the norm, which is fiat money. For example, we have dollars, rands, pounds, etc. E-money, for example, through Western Union, a person sends money, you make an EFT, etc. Fiduciary money and commodity money. So basically, the preferred view is the view of Imam Muhammad rahimahullah regarding whether crypto can be, or whether an item or an asset can be a valid medium of exchange. We know that in the markets of Baghdad, they used to use what is called fulus anafiqah, which was a form of tender which was not legal tender. It was not recognized by the state, yet it was a valid medium of exchange, and the fuqaha and the jurists of the time permitted that. So therefore, we can apply the similar rationale to say that if it is accepted by norm that, for example, Bitcoin or some other crypto is used as a medium of exchange, then we can say that it can also be considered as a medium of exchange. But nevertheless, we need to also consider the issue of Bitcoin cryptocurrency in light of the masalih and maqasid of Sharia. In other words, that what are the main objectives of Sharia when it comes to Islamic finance, business, and economics? We have to protect the economic interests of the masses to ensure that they don't get involved in something where they could potentially lose money, or there could be a scam or something of that sort. So we need to be very clear in that something can be Sharia compliant, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to invest your money in that thing. And we also make the same disclaimer when we certify products, etc. We say that yes, it is Sharia compliant according to our knowledge, according to our understanding. But whether you should invest in the product, whether you should buy the solution, that is a separate matter. You should make your own investigation. So likewise here, although we're saying that the Bitcoin is a valid medium of exchange, we're not necessarily saying that you should also invest in the Bitcoin. Next slide. So what are some of the fundamental properties of a cryptocurrency? So firstly is that, the transaction is irreversible. In other words, that it is irreversible. Once a transaction has occurred, then you can't retrace or you can't retrack the money. So from a security perspective, it is extremely secure. It is pseudonymous. In other words, that it is very difficult for identity theft, security to be hacked, etc. It is fast and secure. It is permissionless. And you have different forms of ledgers. You have a public ledger, a private ledger, and a hybrid ledger. There are a number of cryptocurrencies. You have cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin, Cardano, XRP, Dogecoin. Now I hear the new one is called Shiba Inu. So there are a number of cryptos that have been established. What are some of the benefits of crypto? Is that it prevents fraud, identity theft. The settlement happens almost immediately. The fees are also reduced. And you as the owner of the crypto will have immediate ownership access. So there are a number of benefits of this new medium of exchange, or this new asset of value called cryptocurrency.
Islamic finance learning made simple and memorable.